All right, so the age-old question: what's harder, hitting a major league baseball or a golf ball?
Dude, you kidding me? A
Right.
baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here, joined by Zach, and we will give him a more formal introduction here in a second. As we get started, let me introduce Holderness and Bourne. They really don't need an introduction. Jonathan, again, rocking a nice looking Holderness and Bourne polo there. Man, looking good.
I know.
But it's the crazy thing. Like, they have incredible clothes, styles that suit both your game on and off the course. It's a fit that's not too loose, not too tight. It kind of fits perfectly when you're playing. It's a great shirt. I sweat a lot out on the course, and the polo I have is awesome. So highly encourage you guys to check out Holderness and Bourne. Started by a couple buddies, kind of like this podcast. Started by friends Alex Holderness and John Bourne. And their stuff is everywhere. If you look in a golf shop, you'll find it. I was at Coyote the other day and was looking at the Holderness and Bourne stuff with the Coyote logo on there. It's pretty sweet. But check out their summer 2024 styles and colors at hbgolf.com and use the code BESTBALL for complimentary shipping on your next order. Another good friend of the program is Western Birch. We talk about them all the time, and Jonathan and I joke. Jonathan likes the short tees, so the ones that are pretty small. He hits an iron off the tee all the time. I bought him some of the Fleetwood colors. I thought, man, his favorite golfer is Fleetwood. He'll love these things. He'll never lose them. Well, forgot he was colorblind, so that nice wooden dark color is pretty hard for him to find on the ground. So he went ahead and got some new white ones. But Holderness or Western Birch, you can grab any of their golf tees, design them in different colors, styles, put logos on them like a Golf Dad's logo. So check out westernbirch.com. Use the code BESTBALL for a free gift with your order. But let's get to our guest today on the Whole Story Podcast. We have Zach Neal, born in the area that I am at right now, Columbia, South Carolina. So then he went to the University of Oklahoma in 2010, drafted by the Florida Marlins. Yeah, we're talking baseball on a golf show. He pitched in the majors for the Oakland A's, the Dodgers, and now he's started a brand called Golf Dad. So Zach, welcome to the Whole Story Podcast.
Jonathan, Robbie, I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you having me on. I look forward to talking with you guys.
Yeah, so how did you – let's start talking about your baseball stuff, right? So grew up playing baseball. We were talking before. You got a full family of people that have played baseball and are still doing it, right?
Yeah. So as you said, I was born in Columbia from South Carolina, and then we moved out here to Texas. So I claim Texas, but, I still got some Carolina roots in me, I will say. Those don't ever leave you. But, yeah, the baseball career, I always loved playing baseball. Since I was, my dad's, whenever I was able to walk and I was throwing the ball around, hitting the ball. But then I went to University of Oklahoma, drafted, like you said, drafted by Miami. Spent the last 14 years of my life playing professional baseball. So that was quite the journey. I don't know if we have enough time to get into all the details, but that's what I've been doing my whole life, essentially. College, right into pro ball. This is my first summer off, to where I can even play like a legitimate amount of summer golf. I always tell people too, I love playing Texas golf in the summer. It's just hot, and I don't know, something about it I love. Grew up doing it. So yeah, it's been quite the journey, and finally being able to step away from it and decide to retire and spend some more time at home. Like you said, I'm a full-time golf dad now. I got a little girl and a little boy on the way. Could be any second now. So that's kind of where I'm at. Baseball has been a huge blessing to me. It's given me everything in my life, literally everything. I met my wife at Oklahoma, and her family is an amazing baseball family. Her sister married a major league player. His name's James Russell. And I can explain all the details too. We can get into that. But yeah, it's just been a really crazy just collection of guys that have come into the family, and just super fortunate in that regard as well. We've got a great golf foursome that we, when we can and when those guys are home in the off season, tee it up and go play. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then now transitioning into trying to start this Golf Dads company and getting into that. I got a lot going on, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So,
Well, I told Robbie and you before we started, like, I'm geeking out because we're talking to a Major League Baseball player, but this is golf. So the fun part about it is it feels like you've lived a dream and you're on to your second or third one by now, right? Like, you were able to do what I think most athletes in high school, college aspire to do, which is continue playing whatever that sport is for as long as you can. It sounds like you've gotten to a great family, which, as Robbie and I both know, that's something that's not taken lightly, right? Like, we both come from really great families. You have kids that now, and I talk about this all the time, you're now retired and you can be a full-time dad. And I don't know anyone, Robbie and I talk about this a lot, I don't know any dad worth their salt that if you had the choice to be a full-time dad and kind of build your own thing that you want to, wouldn't take that opportunity. I'm fortunate right now. I'm basically doing that with my kids through high school. And so let's talk about this next dream with the Golf Dads. So how does that go from I'm a professional baseball player to every once in a while I swing a golf club and now we're building a golf brand?
Yeah, so I mean, as I grew up playing baseball, I also love golf. And, my dad put me in the sport, around the same time that I was playing baseball. We would always go play golf together. So he was my golf dad, right? And he showed me how to play, mentored me on the course, like, hey, if I'm getting mad or whatnot, all the important stuff that you do when you're little. And so I really had that growing up, a really nice golf role model. So I was super fortunate. So I grew up playing. I've always loved golf. I love golf courses. I love golf architecture. I love golf gear. I love all of it. You know what I mean? You name it. Like, I'm just a nut. My garage is full of all the pin flags that I've played across, over the last 4 or 5 years. I started collecting all the good ones. So, like, floor to ceiling is just awesome pin flags. I love putters. So pretty much all of it, I've always loved it. So, but it was baseball that paid the bills. But, golf was like another passion of mine that I would, get to play when I was able. So Golf Dad started. I was recently a new father. I just had my little girl Braylon, and I was quarantined. I was playing baseball in Japan, and this was like kind of COVID era, where everything's super heightened. I went down to dinner the night before and sat by one of my Japanese buddies, and the next morning he comes back and he's like got COVID or whatever. So I'm now on the list of, hey, you got to go in quarantine for a while. So I was stuck in the hotel room for 6 days in Hiroshima, Japan. So I had a lot of time on my hands and was just kind of drawing some stuff out. I'm super artistic. I love colors and, designing different stuff. So I was like, man, like, I'm a new dad. Golf Dad sounds pretty good. And that was as simple as that. Me and my buddies, we kind of called ourselves the Golf Dads. Like, already we had like a group text going. So I'm like, all right, like, I'm going to see if I can get some stuff going. And I drew out the logo and what I wanted it to look like. And then I texted a buddy who's in graphic design, and he sent over this logo actually. And that's what it started as, just something fun for me to do, a creative outlet for me to make some cool golf stuff and sell it to buddies that were new dads. And then, like, probably a year ago, I kind of pivoted in the company. It's like, man, I love selling stuff just to make it and sell it, right? But I want this to be bigger, and I want it to mean more. I wanted the company to have a stronger backbone, something to where, like, you don't have to be a golf dad to buy it. And that's where I partnered up with a local charity here in Fort Worth. They're called Hope Farm. And what they do is they help kids that grew up without dads in their lives. Okay, so like they're at-risk kids that don't have a mentor, that didn't have somebody like me, taking them out to the golf course on a Saturday, or spending time with them in that way, and teaching them the game of golf and just being there for them. So that's where, like, I see the company going, into a more charitable aspect, to where I'm going to sell high quality stuff. I'm going to sell really cool stuff. And when you buy it, that you're going to be helping other people out when you do it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. We've got a really good thing here with the charity in Fort Worth, but my main, like, absolute, like, 30,000 foot goal is to have this stuff in each pro shop that you go, like, with you go and you see the Holderness Born rack, I want the Golf Dads rack next to it, with Holderness and Born like logos, my logo on their stuff and country clubs, because then everyone's buying it and you see it and it's going towards a good cause to helping kids that aren't as lucky as a lot, because when it comes down to it, we can't choose where we're born. And like you said, I have an amazing original family with my parents, but then now my in-laws are awesome, and I'm just super fortunate. So I want the company to be a little bit bigger than just making stuff for my personal gain or just because, right? I'm trying to get this to where you buy it, that you're doing some good. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And there's been a lot of stuff along the way that I guess I've thought of and kind of pivoted to. So that's where we're at, and it's been fun.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3.
Have you gotten her a toddler golf bag and set from Charlie Golf Co. already?
Funny about Charlie Golf Co. They're big Royals fans. So I posted a picture with my brother-in-law Bobby, and he reached out to me. He's like, dude, I'm a huge fan. His little kid has like a Bobby Witt Jr. jersey, and yeah, so he sent me one for free. I sent him some Golf Dad stuff. Yeah, so that was as he was getting going, and man, like, what a story to see him just explode like that. It's so cool. The bags are great. Yeah, so I've got some Charlie Golf stuff for sure. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Tyler's a great guy.
Yeah.
We've only met him through the podcast world, so but we're big fans of what he's doing. Our kids they don't need toddler golf bags anymore. No. My son basically tries to take all my clubs. He's 19, so yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that problem yet. Somebody coming in your bag and stealing your like favorite putter. Like, I'm gonna try this out, because I used to do that with my dad's stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's common.
Robbie and I would go play golf, and I'm like, which set are you playing with? He goes, Archie's got the good ones. I got the old ones.
There you go. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at, and it's been really fun,
Well, it seems like, I grew up a Braves fan, Red Sox fan, but, it seems like hearing stories of the Braves, the Glavins, the Smoltz, Maddox, and all these guys are, as pitchers, they have a little more time to maybe go out and play golf. So as you traveled, playing with the big leagues, did you have times in different places to go and experience different golf courses around the country?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was like my favorite part of playing baseball, to be honest.
The off days?
Well, just the off days, and like you got a free plane ticket to to wherever you're going. Like last year, we over the course of 14 years, we got to play some great courses. But last year, we were in Tacoma, so we played Chambers. So it's just you're in places that you might not be for free on a plane. So I always would bring my sticks and see like where we can get on, and I was super lucky to play some really awesome tracks along the way. So that was one of my favorite parts, just traveling across the country and finding all those really cool courses. There's like a great course in El Paso Country Club. I would never go play golf in El Paso, but I'm there, playing the AAA team with the Padres, and so we've gotten, I got to play some great tracks only because of playing baseball. And that's another thing why I love golf so much. For me, I was a starting pitcher. So golf to me is really similar to an outing, as a starter. You can go out and give up 3 in the first, but that you still have to maneuver your way through that outing and get to the 6th inning or the 7th inning just to save the bullpen. Or you can mess up early, but you still have the chance to come back late. And that's very typical of my golf game too. I'll start out 5 over through 3 and, end up 5 over. You can still maneuver your way and save it and, grind a little bit. And just the mental test and the mental, fortitude that's so similar to baseball is right there with golf too. So I think that's really a big reason why I like it a lot.
Imagine the golf pro coming out and saying, all right, hole 7, you're out. I'm bringing in a lefty to finish.
You're like, no, I got this. Yeah. Get out of here.
Well, and you were a pitcher, so no one was worried about it ruining your swing. They were right. I mean, the last couple of years, especially if you're in the American League, they never worried about you coming up to bat at all.
No. Nobody ever worried about my batting skills. That's for sure. No.
So did you have to book your own tee times, or did you get to the travel manager and be like, hey, since we're coming into town, can you make some phone calls for me? Or the concierge at the hotel?
I was in the big leagues parts of 4 years, 16, 17, 18, and then last year was my last year in 23. I grinded my way all the way back up again to the top, nice. And then I finished out on the top. But there was like a few instances where we would like ask the travel secretary, but for the most part, like I'm a member of 1,000 Greens. I don't know if you heard of that. It's an app to where like if you're a member at a club, you can get access to other clubs throughout the country.
Gotcha.
So like last year I did that at Lake Merced, out in the Bay Area. But yeah, just kind of like word of mouth, and hey, do you know anyone? Or friends played there before us, or hey, text this dude, or a lot of times to be honest, I would just call.
Show up.
Like, hey, like I would go play like in Jupiter when I first signed with Miami. I would just go play PGA and be like, hey, I'm with the Marlins. Can I come play? It's like, yeah, just come on out. It's like $75. Back then it was 70. They would do it for 75 or 90.
Wow.
So it was sick. Like, then that was like that was the strategy I would like always use.
Just tell me with the team.
Yeah, I mean that's
Little
fun.
name drop.
Like, hey, I'm with the A's. Like, can we come play? And more times than not, it's like come on out. We're only here for a couple days, so they're always pretty cool about it.
That's awesome. So how have your buddies in baseball latched onto the golf dad stuff?
Yeah, I think it's super relatable, right? As I get older, a lot of guys have kids, and they're starting to be in that golf dad's lifestyle. To where like, hey, you have to ask your wife, like, hey, what's next Friday look like? It's like I don't know if I can play. Your boys text you, and it's like, you want to play golf tomorrow, and you literally, I like look at my wife like, can I play golf tomorrow? Like that's a whole golf dad's lifestyle.
Right.
It's not like, yeah, I'm out, I'm coming, I'm on my way. So I think a lot of them are starting to like feel that. How it's just a different feel. You have other priorities and you've got stuff going on. So as much as I would love to play, like I don't get to. I mean, my wife's gonna listen to this. I do get to play. I'm pretty lucky in the sense that she does let me go play like a good amount. But the golf dad, typically, I always say like if I can like maybe once a week would be great. That's perfect. So they're starting to get into that as well. But they love it, and they're repping it on their bags, and I'm making hats, and hats are selling out pretty quick. I did like a OU collegiate one last year because I'm a Sooner. Last week. So yeah, it's starting to grow a little bit like that, in just like an organic sense. I haven't really. That's one thing that I wanted to do with the company was just kind of let it like grow itself. I don't want to get like too big too fast. I'm trying to do this in a super like authentic, organic way. So the buddies that play baseball, they're always super supportive, and I got some really loyal guys out there. If I drop anything, like they're getting it, and that just means a lot, man, because you did something with them again, and playing baseball, and then now you're supporting them in like a new journey. So that's just really cool. Whenever guys do that, it means a lot. So it's been fun.
Well, and depending on how long you've been married, you also have you've got time you got to make up for, right? Because like you said, this is the first summer that you've been home, and you've had a 3-year-old, which means sometimes your wife's probably looking at you going, no, I'm going somewhere while you watch the 3-year-old, and the new baby will make it happen all over again, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like I am making up for lost time 100%, especially, there's parts when I was playing overseas where my wife, she had the baby for 4 straight months at home, because she couldn't get over there because, like I said, because of COVID and stuff. So yeah, it's just the golf dad's juggling act. You got to find a good time that works for everybody, and then hope it works out for the buddies at the course, and go after it. But I'm super fortunate, and I was actually lucky enough to through the charity that I work with in Fort Worth, I was able to bring out like my first kid to the course the other day, and just kind of like hang out. We went and like hit balls, and he likes golf, but he hasn't gotten to play a lot of golf. So we went out there and just kind of talked and see what he wants to do and what his life plans are, right? Something that I don't know, somebody might not ever ask, right? Like, what do you want to do, man? Like, because for me, like, that was what I wanted to do, was play in the big leagues and be a big league baseball player and play and make a career out of it. So like, I'm super fortunate to have done that. So, but now I see that like it is possible. Like, so asking him, hey, what do you want to do? He wants to be a mechanical engineer. Like, okay, well, what steps do we need to do that? So just kind of like mentoring him and hanging out, and So that was really awesome, man. And that's kind of where I want this to go because it's so, I don't know, the perspective you gain, and it's just so rewarding. And I think that if we can steer the company in that direction, it'll just be really cool.
Well, share more about that charity. Like, let's talk about what they're doing. Obviously, local in the Fort Worth area. Do they have partners across the country, or what would it look like if someone said, "Hey, I live in Augusta, Georgia. How could I get involved in something like that?"
Yeah, so that's kind of the goal for this company too. Is it's starting out in Fort Worth just because there is a charity like this here that aligns just straightly with our values, not our values, but like our vision, right? So they're on their website, it says they're breaking the cycle of fatherlessness. These kids grow up without anyone in their life, like a father figure. And, simple as that. A lot of single mothers, and so what this place does, it's like an after-school program where they go get them from school, and everybody comes to the center. They do their homework, they hang out. It's like a mentorship program, and it's a center for them. It's a safe space, right? But in that program, they have different avenues for the kids to do, and Charles, the kid I was with last week, he got to go to like a different high school because of the program. He has different programs allotted to him through Hope Farm, and I think if you look at golf dads from, a 5 to 7 year plan, that is what I dream of. I have an Augusta, Georgia chapter of golf dads to where, hey, we've got stuff in pro shops and we're selling it there, and it's going to go to whatever charity we think aligns with this, how can we help, kids that need golf dads, or, what have you, right? But that is like the main goal, to where this isn't just a Fort Worth brand, I want this to be national, and I want this to really be something to where you see this logo and you see the colors and you see the stuff on bags, like, that it's a little fraternity and we're doing some good, right? So that's kind of what the big picture is.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a mission first, and then a golf brand second.
Yeah, that's what I call it. It's golf gear for good.
Yeah.
When you order it, it's going to be high quality stuff. I actually was at the Dallas show yesterday and had a talk with
Nice.
Holderness and Bourne about doing some stuff with them, and just aligning myself with high quality companies that are because that's what I want. I want it to be for guys that love golf and love good stuff. Yeah, that's kind of the mission, and it's been great.
Very nice. So what has been the biggest lesson learned so far as you've built this company, this community, this service organization?
I think it's like anything, right? It's I'm slowly starting to draw a lot of parallels to baseball and like my baseball career, or like with anything you do in life, right? I have like an ultimate vision of what I want it to be and what I see it as, and so now like I'm just figuring out a way, each step-by-step process to get there, right? And it's like with baseball, with anything, like you have to have that like the big goal in mind, right? And when you see it, I see it really far away, but I know that like this step needs to happen to do it, this step. So I think the hardest part, like lately and initially, is you just have to take it slow, right? And I think nowadays too, the hardest part is there's like a lot of comparison, right? There's a lot of golf companies that get big quick, or they have a lot of followers, or there's that comparison game to where, oh man, like what are they doing? Like we're doing cool stuff too. Like why isn't that happening? So I think that's like the hardest part, is like taking yourself away from the comparison of other people and other companies, and really just trying to like be authentic and grow it that way. And I think if I can do that, and I think it'll kind of just take care of itself, right? But I think that's definitely the hardest part, is just being patient. I want this thing to be so cool and so big, but this thing, it takes time to do this stuff. So that's probably the hardest part. That's just staying in my lane and just trying to do the best I can, right?
I tell people all the time that baseball players make the best entrepreneurs and salespeople because we're so used to failing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're Bobby Witt Jr., or if you're Zach, I mean, how many losses have you had in your career?
Yeah.
Do you know that number?
Losses?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can look. Let's look. I can find it.
But you think about, like, I remember, was it The Perfect Game with Kevin Costner, whenever he's talking to the lady he met, and he's talking about how many times he's lost. He's like, yeah, we count everything, and in baseball, if you're Hall of Fame, as a hitter, you're going to fail 70% of the time or more.
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
like,
Yeah, that's,
baseball is the ultimate grind in that, right? Like you said, you get out there and you've had a rough couple months, but that doesn't matter because there's another couple months that's coming next. You just keep going, keep plugging away. So,
yeah, and I think that's like the thing that I've gotten the most out of baseball. Like when I look back, like what did I learn is like being able to control what you can control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that applies to business. It applies to anything. Like I can take my skills that I've learned through that and go do anything I want. I might not know like at first. Like I didn't know what I was doing in low A when I first got drafted.
yeah.
Of course, I mean, why would I? I had just started, like, and it's just like anything. So you do take your lumps early, and you do make mistakes. You do order like too many of one hat or too many head covers, and now I've got them in the closet. You know what I mean? So like I'm learning.
Like 10,000 koozies.
No, I haven't. Luckily, I haven't done that too bad. But
Well, I don't know who did something like that, but like 10,000 koozies for the waste management. That's something you could do. How many we got left, Robbie?
Probably 4,000.
Probably 3 or 4,000.
hey, that's pretty good though. They get rid of 6,000 of those.
Well, we stood out in parking lots at the waste management and handed every person that walked by for 3 or 4 or 5 days.
And those people, every time they take a sip of their beverage, they realize that best ball's out there somewhere.
Right. That.
I mean, but that's good marketing as well. But yeah, like baseball, learning how to. God, I mean, I went through so many stretches of just like, man, this is brutal. Like, I'm really down right now, and you just have to like find a way to claw out because you have the ultimate goal in mind. And I was kind of a grinder, to be honest. I was a 17th round pick out of Oklahoma. Didn't get a bunch of money in the draft. It took me 6 full seasons to get to the big leagues. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I threw like, I don't know if it was maybe like close to like 800 minor league innings before I got the call to the big leagues. So I really like,
Yeah.
persistence is like one of my best qualities, I would say. So and even when I got to the big leagues, it wasn't a cakewalk there. I was always the one that was like sent out or down to AAA again and then called back up, and always the 41st man on a 40-man roster. But then it all works the way it's supposed to work, because then I got to go play in Japan, right, for 3 years, and to me that felt like a culmination of like my whole career wrapped up into like one big present, right? It's like, okay, you did it. Here's your reward for all the BS, right, for over the last like 9 years. So it all works out how it should, and I think if you can just put your control in like things that are around you and like control your environment and just push on, I think you can really do anything, and that's kind of what we want to do with golf dads too, with these kids, is let them know, hey man, like you want to do something, let's set some goals and let's write some stuff down and let's try. That was kind of the mantra of my baseball career, was you never know.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about, you had a 14-year career, what does it look like 14 years from now for the kid that you took out to play golf, right? Like that's the long term of it. It's a lifelong journey into something, and I'm assuming you're not old, so like
35,
right? Yeah. So what does it look like if it's 15, 20 years down the road, and then you get to see the fruit of the kids that maybe got started whenever they were in kindergarten, 2nd grade with this particular program, and now they're graduating high school. I think that's awesome, man. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been fun, and I just like I said, just trying to do what I can, and I appreciate y'all having me on. It's good to talk about it, because to share that message is it's easier in this kind of format, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we'd be. I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to ask this question again. But what was the feeling like when you got called up to pitch in your first major league game?
Okay, yeah, it was sweet. It's a cool story. So I was with Oakland in 2016, and I was pitching really well in AAA. And we didn't have like too many arms. A lot of guys have been called up, recently. So there's a lot of movement like that way. You can kind of tell when stuff's hitting the fan up top, you can kind of tell because a lot of guys are leaving. There's a lot of designations, claims. It's a lot of like moving parts. So we were in Iowa, and I swear I said this before the game. I said, me and my buddies were walking over. I'm like, bro, I'm never gonna get this call. Like, it's never gonna happen. I'm 6 years in. Like, it's just not realistic for me. And I was like, and that's okay. Like, maybe next year in free agency, I'll make some money on a good, minor league split deal. That's fine, whatever. And just not for me. But I threw a bullpen that day before the game because I was starting, and then I think it was like towards the end of our game in Iowa. My like whenever the trainer's phone in AAA starts ringing mid game, like stuff's going on, because he's the one that's like booking travel and he's in charge of kind of like telling guys, hey, you're going up tomorrow or what have you. And I already knew that we were getting crushed in Boston. Like the Red Sox were just smoking us. I think they had like starter went 3 innings. The bullpen's wearing it, so I'm like, okay, like that's not good. So the trainer's like in the bathroom, he's hiding, like talking on the phone. Yeah, okay. And then he like hands the phone to my pitching coach, and I'm behind my pitching coach. My pitching coach is like, yeah, He's like, yeah, he could probably throw tomorrow. He's like, yeah, he threw a bullpen today, but he should be fine. And I was like, looking around the dugout. I was like, there's nobody else threw a bullpen today. Like I didn't see anyone else throw a bullpen. I'm like, and that's when I like started freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, like. Damn, that might actually be me, And then I went in and, I was kind of waiting on it. And I called my now wife, I'm like kind of just like hanging out. And maybe it was me. I don't really know. Like, we'll see. And then they're like, hey, they're looking for you in the office or whatever. I'm like, oh, God. I get chills thinking about today. And then call me in and they're like, hey, like, we know you've been starting or whatnot, but you got to throw tomorrow in Fenway out of the bullpen. And I was just like,
Fenway. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And, called my dad and all that stuff. So that was pretty sick. And then, left the next morning like 3:30 a.m. on a flight out of Iowa to Boston. I got to Boston. Game was at like, I don't know why I got there so late from leaving at like 4 a.m.
Because you were leaving from Des Moines. There's nowhere to go, right?
Yeah, I had to go.
Yeah, the Cubs up there. There's no direct route anywhere.
Right. And so I got there. I got there like as people were like in the concourse already, kind of like Jazz Chisholm did the other day.
Yeah.
He rolls in like I'm like, hey, like can you I'm a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You are. And then I roll up to the guy at the clubhouse. Like, hey, I'm here I'm like with the team. Can I get in? And that's go in and meet the manager and stretch a little bit. And that night I was in the, that was like when it really set in, right? Go out and you're sitting in the bullpen, and when that bullpen phone rings, man, like I don't care what you've been doing like the night before, like you're ready like quick. Like if I could somehow get like a bullpen call on the first tee of a round, I would never have to stretch or do anything. Like there's nothing like when that phone rings down there, super loud, and I told me to get going, and I threw 3 innings that night. Family was there, so it was super special, and what a like crazy journey up until that point. And then really whenever you get called up, like I always say, like that's like your second career has started.
Yeah.
Now you're like a major league player, and you got to go through all sorts of different moves. And from there I went and played. I was with Oakland that year and had a great year my first year in 16, and then 17 went back. Got up again with Oakland that year, and then the next year I signed with LA. I was with the Dodgers in spring training. Pitched 1 inning, 2 games for the Dodgers in 18, but I got an NLCS ring, so that was nice. And then 19, 20, 21, I was living in Tokyo.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just been a crazy ride of little twists and turns that if something doesn't happen that way, there's no way that it would steer this way. There were so many pivotal moments and like decisions that I made along the way in my career that really shaped it to where it ended. And that's the cool part when you're done, to look back and be like, man, if I wouldn't have done that, there's no way that I would be where I am today. And that's pretty cool to think about for sure.
Yeah, because there's no glamorous life in the minors.
Yeah.
And so after every season, someone's got to pull you aside and be like, are you sure you still want to do this? Like, I got a job for you back home where you could like start making real money and not be gone from your family and everything else, right?
Yeah, and that was never even an option.
That's awesome.
I never even considered that. I never was looking for other jobs outside of baseball or, looking back on it, I had no intention of that. I was so focused in really putting everything I had like into that dream. But for me, luckily, I was good, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I was having really good years in the minor leagues, so it felt like if you just plugged along, you saw other guys doing the same thing, and I just felt like, my turn would eventually come, hopefully, right?
Well, I mean, as a pitcher, if you're a live arm at some point, the bullpen's gone through the numbers and they got to bring people up, right? So if you're at the top of that list, you get that opportunity.
Yeah, and that was one thing. That was one thing that helped me in my career too. Was I didn't miss any time over 14 years. I never missed a start. I never missed anything.
Wow.
So I was always available. I say the best ability is availability. So that's what I was. Squeaky wheel, man. So that's where it is, and that's like I said earlier, I'm just super fortunate for baseball. It really was a life-changing thing, and now like I told you earlier, my brother-in-law Bobby, I mean, he's just now getting going to where like,
Oh, man.
I'm gonna be watching them till I'm, I don't know, like 50.
Right.
So I'm gonna be around like Major League Baseball again for another 15 years.
Well, it'll never leave your system, no matter what level you're at. If you just grew up playing through high school or made it to the pros, like if you love baseball, it's one of those things that'll stick with you forever. So that's awesome. But
Yeah,
we do have to ask you. We talked baseball, we've talked kind of the golf business side of things. Let's get into you, the golfer, a little bit. And we ask everybody, what is your most memorable golf shot?
Oh man. Memorable golf shot. I don't have any aces yet, so that's
Neither do we. You're good.
No, I don't either. Okay.
No, we haven't pitched in the pros though, so you still got one.
Yeah,
for us.
yeah, you're still at it.
We're in rare company for no one to have an ace here.
Yeah.
Memorable golf shot. I don't know if I could say like. I mean, I've had memorable, moments at I would say courses. Like last year, probably my most memorable was I went on the back nine at Lake Merced. I had 4 birdies in a row, and I almost chipped in for 5. So that was like crazy. I mean, all the guys were like, "Dude, what in the world?" I'm like, "I have no idea." Like, I don't know. I just blacked out, honestly. Like it was like pitching, 4 perfect innings in a row or something. Like everything is just clicking, and I was seeing the line of putts and hitting the putts, and I didn't miss the middle of the face. So that was like most recently like my most memorable thing. 4 in a row at Lake Merced on the back. Like it was dusk in the Bay Area.
What a course
nice
too.
and chilly with the fog rolling in. I mean, it was gorgeous. But I've gotten to play so many cool courses. I just love a great, cool course with history. That's for me. That's what golf is. Just there's so many things about it I love. I mean, I'm sure you guys are the same way.
Yeah.
Hey golf friends, this is Robbie from Best Ball. Are you looking for the ultimate Myrtle Beach golf experience? Well, it's only a click away. Check out the 2-play special at 2 of America's most awarded public golf courses and 2 of my personal favorites. Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club are low country masterpieces featuring 2 iconic Mike Strantz designs. Play these 2 incredible courses for one great price. Visit truebluegolf.com to learn more about the 2-play special and book your tee time today. That's truebluegolf.com.
Well, that's a good segue to what we call the quick 9. So we're going to ask you 9 questions back and forth. You can be as loquacious as you prefer or short-winded. Okay. We'll start off with the first one, and this one might be a good one here. What's the favorite course that you've ever played?
Oh man, can I get it has to be one?
Well, if you give your favorite course, we have some other questions that might lead to other courses.
Okay. Favorite course? Man. I'd probably there's a lot of factors that go into that question, right?
Sure.
But I would say probably last year, Burning Tree.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very special.
All right. What course is at the top of your bucket list?
Cypress, for sure. There's so many good courses too that are coming out, like in y'all's area, like the Eastern Coast is so good. Definitely, I love that area, of Carmel, all of those, Monterey Peninsula Country Club is up there, Cypress, playing those. There's a lot of courses in Utah that I would like to play too.
I've seen some pictures; they look really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't played much East Coast golf, So I would like to play like northeastern golf. I never have had the opportunity to play like all the really cool old country clubs up there. But yeah, there's those three would obviously be up there.
Now it's on your own dime from a flight perspective, right?
Yeah, right now I got to figure out how to get there. That's the hardest part.
That's whenever Golf Dad really kicks in. Hey, babe, listen, I've got a golf trip. It's for work, though. It's for work.
Yeah.
I've got to go do this. Yeah, build the brand.
And when you pick up the phone, it's, hey, I'm Zach with Golf Dads, not Zach a pitcher.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can I get on your course?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not credibility.
All right, so this is going to be tough, and we may allow some exceptions for family, but who would be in your dream foursome?
Oh. Yeah, I got a dream foursome.
You get the call, you're going to Augusta National. Who's the three folks that are going with you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the brother-in-law's got to go, but I mean,
He can get on to places himself. He doesn't need
those-
you to
those
tell.
three
You'll
guys.
be on his dream foursome because he's getting
Yeah.
the access.
I mean, obviously, I think if you could play like around with, obviously Tiger. Everyone says Tiger, right? But Lou Trevino, like a Texas guy, like that would be really cool.
We haven't had that one.
You ever play with like Ben Hogan with his clubs or something like that? Like watch those guys play with what they're using. Like that would be pretty special too.
Ooh, that's interesting.
like-
No one's brought up the old clubs.
Like seeing what those guys were working with, go play like Augusta with those guys like back in the day would be super special.
Yeah.
Golly, there's so many I would want to play with though. Jeez, I don't know. What's y'all's?
Well, if it's Augusta National, Robbie and I are automatic first calls to each other. So
That's a good. That's good. That's
right,
good friend right
yeah,
there.
it's here.
Ground rule. Yeah.
Yeah, automatic. I'm here in town, so I don't know if I'll ever get the chance. I've got some friends that have had the opportunity that have gotten the phone call because they know people. So I never thought about the most interesting one we had so far. I think Robbie was Tupac, right? Like that was by far the most interesting
yeah.
answer. Tupac.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It is
So
tough.
many opportunities. Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah, I like it though. That's a good one.
Cool. All right. What baseball player that you played with is the best golfer?
There's a guy that I played with recently who's playing right now who's really good. He's with the Braves. Bryce Elder's pretty nasty. Local Fort Worth boy. So I would say like most recently my boy Bryce I think has that one covered.
Okay.
He's close to scratch. Let me think here. Played with so many guys. Yeah, I think right now Bryce might be the best one that I played with. I have so many like baseball golf buddies too. Probably
Right.
don't listen to this
That's
these
awesome.
days.
They're gonna be calling you like I thought I was the best player. All right.
They
I
might-
can't say like you can't beat me, so like I don't know what to tell you.
There.
They might volunteer to be our next guest.
That's right. So they can say they're better than
Yeah.
the other guys. All right. So the age-old question: what's harder, hitting a major league baseball or a golf ball?
Dude, you kidding me?
Right.
Baseball.
Right. Every golfer everywhere would be like, no, it's got to be golf.
No chance, man. Hitting is the hardest thing to do in any sport.
Yep.
especially
At what
nowadays,
level?
man.
At what level along the way do you feel like it became like astronomically more difficult? Because, like for example, I played through college, and then I go to like my single A, and I watch these guys, and I think, I mean, there's no break on it. If you're behind, there's no break. It's flat. You get your guy that's off. I just keep thinking I could probably hit the single A guys. Now I'm 45, so I probably can't. But let's pretend like I still think at some level I probably could. But at what level does it become such exponentially different in the way pitchers pitch?
Well, I think you have like those guys in low A or high A that are big league players, right?
Right.
You know, that will be there and eventually. But I would say like once you get up to like higher levels of Double A and Triple A, like those are all like really good pitchers, and it's like with anything, right? You have your level. It's like like a top 10 every week in golf, right? You have your 2 or 3 guys that are going to be there every week, and then you have the guys that had a good week and they shift up and they play really well. But then you have the guys that are just extremely naturally gifted at what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was one of those guys that had to really work and like make myself really, really good. You know, I was naturally gifted, but I'm not like a Garrett Cole naturally gifted.
Right.
You know, where those guys are just horses, you know, or just can pick up their leg and move how they move and throw 100, right? Like no one taught them how to do that. That's just what they do, like naturally, innately. It's like guys that are really, really good at finding the middle of the face every time, you know, the really, really good golfers. So I think once you get to AA and AAA, though, I mean, that's like, I mean, those are a lot of big league players in there, you know. So I think hitters would probably tell you that too, you know, and especially nowadays, AAA is like, it has been, but it's you know, it's like a backup major league team, you know. A lot of guys there have major league service time, but you just look at the last 5 years. There's been a really big shift in pitching and like pitching styles, right? You know, major league teams, they really want strikeouts. You know, they want guys that have unhittable stuff, and they reward that. And you know, when I was coming up, the biggest statistic I looked at was WHIP, right? Walks and hits per innings pitched. Like that was kind of my style. You know, I'm going to present it to you to hit it, and I want you to hit it on the ground weekly, and I want you to do it fast. You know, I don't want to throw a lot of pitches to you. Like let's get this thing moving. And nowadays it's I need strikeouts and I need you to throw like 98.
Right.
You know, you look at a major league bullpen nowadays, and pretty much from the jump, like coming out of there in the 6th or 7th inning is a guy throwing 95, and then once you get to the later part, you got guys throwing 102 mile an hour like cutters. You know, so like a major league hitter hitting nowadays, and you know, even coming up through the system is just crazy, man. Like these guys are, and I think what it is, I think we've hacked how to do it. You know, technology is a lot better, and sharing information is better. You have a lot of like centers that you can go to where that's what they do. You know, is they make you throw harder, and they're going to tell you how to do it. And there's weighted balls, and the training is so specific to the movement. So I think that's like why you see pitchers nowadays are just so gross. I mean, like we said, like a little brother-in-law, for him to like be doing what he's doing, like doing it so well, just like blows my mind, right? Because I know who he's facing, and the guys he faces on a daily basis is, you know, guys are good, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really good.
All right, we did a little homework on this one. In your major league career, you hit 3 batters. So what hurts worse, getting hit by a baseball or a golf ball?
Oh man, probably a golf ball, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. Like especially my fastball. I mean, 90 miles an hour compared to what's a golf ball?
A lot more than that.
Well, I'm assuming you're not looking forward. Like you're not. If you get hit by a golf ball, it's probably out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you were to line up 60 feet away, you know, and launch like a driver or a golf ball, for sure has to hurt worse.
Every time I go to any type of professional anything, I just keep thinking, I hope I get hit by a golf ball, because then at least I get a signed glove, right?
Yeah.
That's my goal. Like I want to get. If I get to go to the national for practice round, I'm like standing in places where I know the ball's going to come on a drive. Like I just needed to like clip my shoulder or something in a practice round. Yeah. Get to say hi to a pro and get a.
Is a glove enough nowadays?
Like $12, Jonathan.
Well, I don't know.
Glove.
Yeah, but I mean, but I want to get hit by the golf ball too.
Yeah.
All right.
They should give you that Circle T in their bag or something like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad.
That really hurt, man. How's that putter look?
Yeah.
This glove isn't going to cut it.
I'll have to get a lefty to hit me.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite snack on the golf course?
Ooh, snack. I always have like a protein, like some sort of like stick, like a jerky stick, and like an apple gets me through pretty good. I like if I was like gonna go at like a halfway house or something, like just a solid like tuna sandwich would be nice. You know what I mean? Something like that, or you know, a club. But yeah, it's, you know, something simple. No, I'm not a big hot dog guy. You know, a lot of guys would crush like a dog at the turn, but I don't know.
You've had a lot of hot dog opportunities in your career.
Yeah, I'm good on those, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that.
All right. Golf Dads has a great logo. We're big fans of logos in general, but what is your favorite golf course logo?
Oh, man, there's So I like simple, right? I like clean and simple. The most recent one that I really like, I think is going to be my favorite course that I played was Burning Tree's logo. Just the tree with the flames, obviously, is good. I like a tree, like Oak Tree National has a good one. Not Chambers doesn't have a tree.
Have you seen Tree Farm?
Yeah, like those logos are sick. Like I
Yeah.
like this. I like the what's the owl too? Is that Old Barnwell?
Old Barnwell.
Like even was it Cabot or Cabo?
Yeah, Cabot. Yeah.
Cabot Farms.
Oh yeah, Cabot Citrus down there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've been like really pushing hard for my club here in Fort Worth. Every now and then they'll release like a limited edition batch of like squirrel hats because
Nice.
the course is full of squirrels, so like it's like a little alternate logo. But I think if we could like design a simpler, like clean squirrel, that's a sick little thing. So I like clean, smaller, like refresh logos. I have this one which I like, and then I have like a circle GD as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love logo design. I love colors and like designing all that stuff. So yeah, maybe I would say probably Burning Tree's logo. I try to get a pin flag, but they don't do them, so I'm stuck with like the other stuff. But that's good.
We know a guy. Maybe we can figure out a way to get your Fort Worth guy connected to it.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right. This one's tough. This would be hard. Pick one. I'm going to make this a little bit more robust than what Robbie. You're Game 7 winning pitcher, World Series champ, or membership at Augusta National.
Man, that's tough.
That's tough, right?
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Augusta membership plays a little longer. I don't know how much what joy lasts longer. I think playing like Augusta when I'm 65 with my grandkids might be better. I think I'm gonna go membership. Yeah.
Moving on to if you'd asked yourself that whenever you were 26 years old, what do you think the answer would be?
26.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple years into the minor leagues.
When it was somewhat of a possibility still. Yeah, maybe the World Series champion because it might come with a membership, right?
Maybe an invite to play, but
Yeah. I'm going membership. I'm going for the long play here. Yeah,
there we go. Nice.
Very wise, very wise. Well, Zach, this has been awesome. Tell everybody where they can find Golf Dad stuff.
Yeah, so I think the easiest would be probably, everything's kind of running through Instagram these days. That's how we, got hooked up. So I do a lot of stuff on there. It's _golf_dads. So we're on there, and then we have a website. Like I said, we're still kind of ramping up and getting going, but the website's golfdadsproshop.com. And you can on there, there's a little story about us and what we're doing. And the hardest part for me is ordering merch and keeping it stacked up, right? I order it, sell it out, and got to wait 4 weeks for more stuff to come in. But this fall and over the next month, we're going to have some really cool stuff coming out. And I've been working with really cool companies lately. I don't know if you guys are familiar with EP. They made some great putter covers for me.
Yeah.
I think it's Tremont, TRE Mont. They're really cool too. I've got towels on the way, which I think are going to be kind of a big hit. A little lower price point, and just the hats too are on the way as well. But yeah, just honestly, just following there and seeing what we're up to. I'm going to start sharing stuff. We're doing a back to school campaign for Hope Farm to get all the kids some notebooks and pencils and get those guys locked in for school coming up here, I guess into this next month. So that's the best way to keep up with what's going on and see what we're doing, and yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Zach, it's been a pleasure to have you on here. Yeah, check out Hope Farms. Be a golf dad. If you're out there and you love golf, find somebody. If you don't have your own kids to take, find somebody younger than you, and maybe it's through an organization like this one. But yeah, just love on kids and show them the game of golf and just be a good role model to them. So, Zach, we appreciate you joining us. So for Zach and Jonathan, this is Robbie. It's been another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.